everybody is at the same level. Not everybody's at the same state of awareness and state of willingness and readiness. Tailor your information for their level.
Yeah, you don't want to scare them away by overwhelming them, but, drop a few things here and there and let them come to you. And a good way to get some really good advice is there's a transcript of a lecture given by Alex Collier, which you can even check this out on alexcollier.org, is the Andromedans and Mentoring Humanity. And it is from his lecture that he gave at the Awake and Aware conference. And it really has some great ways to get involved in mentoring and introducing the information to people. Alex Collier is a really great resource for introducing people to the concept of the existence of aliens and extraterrestrials and off-worlders. But, take it one step at a time. Don't bombard somebody with it.
Right. You provide an incredible service just making the information available. What people do with it is beyond anybody's control. But, the point is to make it available, because if people are asking questions, they will find it, or they will find somebody who would lead them to it. It's amazing how that works.
I sure hope the shift happens soon, as I'm running out of teeth to bite my tongue. There is no one to talk about the cosmos around here except my 11-year-old, and I worry that she will be chastised if she mentions ETs or the 4D shift. Is there any advice about how to wake people up?
What I suggest is do it slowly and gently. You can start by, taking into consideration that shows like Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Andromeda, Stargate SG-1, those are all based on roughly 80 to 95% based on facts. And start talking to the people that are in the sci-fi, really, really, really into sci-fi, and just kind of be like, what would you think if this stuff is actually true, if it was actually real, or if it was actually based on facts? And
make the information available. It's very much like Field of Dreams here. If you build it, they will come.
Archangels, who are these beings? What is their purpose? When do they intervene?
Oh boy, I really don't like hearing the notion of purpose of angels. That sort of assumes that they only exist for some purpose. They don't have a right to exist in and of themselves, which is not the case. Angels are very high-dimensional beings, typically 11th, 10th, and 12th dimensional beings. Much like small g gods, they often embody certain aspects of creation. And one of the things that they do, and this is the things that they choose to do, is help balance those elements and utilize those elements in ways that support life in general in the universe at large. When do they intervene? Well, typically it depends on the situation. Right, Sunfire?
Yeah, definitely. I know they've been a part of the liberation forces all along and have been doing what they can to help. And, much like the other benevolent ETs, they'll be doing more as soon as it's physically possible for landings and things like that to take place here on the planet. But in the meantime, they're up there just like everybody else, doing what they can and helping out. And, they're one of the most staunch fighters of enslavement. They do not like anything that is in any way related to any type of enslavement, and they fight with great passion against any type of enslavement or anything related to enslavement. when, when they found out that we were, liberation forces were here trying to free the planet, they're like, the only thing they asked was, can we help, and where do you want us to go? And they've been with us ever since.
Earth is such an amazing place. It's a school of discernment. At the same time, it's a university of experience. There's just nothing like it. And in many occasions, I've asked Mornay if he wanted to change places with me, and he was not at all interested in doing that. And I understand, because it's a very tough school. We see it from one perspective where, we're used to this, and it's just, okay, this is a day, this is what we have to deal with, this is just what it is. Our space families, they don't see it that way. They're like, wow, what you guys go through, what you tolerate, the patience that you have is just extraordinary. But it's time to take things, I think, to another level. We need to kick things up here. As far as what's happening off-world, my understanding is that there's somewhat of a stalemate. Now, I'm encouraged to hear that some of the people that were on our space colonies on Mars, and I understand that soon there'll be some others that'll be coming forward that have been returned to Earth. They're coming forward and they're telling their story. I think it's great that we have this new perspective. To my knowledge, no one who's actually been part of the fleet and has been out there has actually returned to Earth to talk about what they know. And I do know for a fact that benevolent forces have tried to, and in some cases, engaged with them to give them another perspective, what's actually happening here, and actually what their mission is or isn't. On every level of this holograph, that's this reality that we think we live in, there is a different lie, okay? And if you can grasp how that works, we think reality is what we see every single day. Those who were taken off-world during the brain drain of the 70s, 80s, and 90s and taken to other places, whether that be the motherships we've created or colonization of other worlds that we haven't been told about, or Mars, they're living in another reality, okay? Some of those have memories of Earth, but now they're so absorbed in another reality that they are almost disconnecting themselves from Earth, from us, our humanity. And then there's those who work in the black projects where they don't interact with humanity anymore. They essentially just interact in the hive mentality with the regressive ETs. They're in a completely different reality as well. And there's multiple layers here. This has all been done to divide us, to separate us from each other. Humanity has a soul, just as Earth has a soul. They're doing everything they can to separate us into pieces, because by doing that, it weakens us. Because collectively as a soul, we are an incredible force, a dominant force. And I don't mean this in a military sense, where we can just bulldoze and do whatever we want. I don't mean it like that. We have a unique experience of, again, falling into time through different layers of physicality to third density. We have the unique experience of having this incredible extremes of emotions, from anger to apathy to joy. We don't appreciate how incredibly strong we are. Because the world, the reality that they have created for us, this holograph, is all about really beating us down. It's about suppression. It's about making you conform to this box that they say we have to be in. 20 years, 25 years ago, when I and others started speaking, we were kooks, nuts, the list goes on, okay? You don't hear that too much anymore because much of what we were talking about has become mainstream. And it is becoming mainstream because the rest of humanity is getting it. It's seeping in, all right? It all comes down to frequency, resonance. The separation of resonances is occurring, and it's about to get really profound. So when I say we're going to be moving into another level of weirdness, I am not exaggerating. Okay, it's going to get really strange, and what's important for everyone, in my humble opinion, is for you to have perspective, is to not, if you can, not get caught up in all this make-believe, pretend, and created drama, because that's what they want. They want to draw our focus away from the spiritual path, and that's where most people are going. Now, whether any of the religions are true, whether they're not true, they are true, your connection to Source is absolutely paramount. That is what everybody needs to be working on, if you're even interested in evolving. Never surrender it. Never put anything or anybody, whether it's a savior, whether it's an alien, an ET, it doesn't matter. Never put anybody between you and the Source, the Creator. This is the message that I want to try to drive home here today, because as things get strange, as they start really tweaking the holograph with fake images, with all kinds of created drama, you're going to find your ground, you're going to find your center in Creator, in grounding yourself, in the fact that you are connected to the Source. You always have been. It's imperative that you remember that. And for me, I've had a lot of challenges. I still have a lot of challenges. Nature does it for me. It grounds me right away, and I can get into that silence, and I can connect, okay? I can't always hold it for a long time, and everybody has a different place, whether it's a water fountain in the middle of the city, whether it's just leaning on a tree, whether it's sitting in a park or watching children, or a bicycle ride, or just a long drive in the country in your car without the music on and the windows open. Whatever it takes for you to be connected, you have to focus on that, or I'm asking you to focus on that. Okay?